Welcome to the SeriesPod podcast. I'm V.
And I'm Andrew. Get your favourite beverage ready and join our book club.
And welcome back, dear listeners, to another episode of the SeriesPod podcast, where we talk about book series. And right now we're talking about The Naked in Death by J.D.Robb. We have made a poll on Instagram if you like the new or the old format. And those who have voted, thank you so much. Thank you to Sunny and Lydia, among a few others, who voted that they like the new format more. So, we're going to start with this summary, and then we're going to go back and discuss the chapters properly. The summary for today. We start with, we use Rourke's mega computer to get into Simpson's account. They release the dirt they gathered on his accounts to Nadine, our newfound face in the journalism world. And they take Simpsons by the balls.
Are you caffeinated? Are you highly caffeinated? This is either sleep deprivation or caffeinated.
Both at this point. We also get Charles, the elevator handyman, coming through with the deposit box, finally. Eve gets a phone call from DeBlass's house. She goes on the trail. Rourke tags along. Catherine tells Eve the whole truth. And Eve makes another big arrest.
She does indeed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Woo!
So, we start chapter 16 with them getting to the room.
And we've got this IT system that's on par with, like, the best in the world kind of thing.
Yeah, she mentions something called IRCCA. I have no idea what that is.
No idea. I was like, this has never been mentioned before.
Right?
Unless it has. I mean, listeners, if IRCCA has been mentioned before, let us know.
What is that? Because apparently we're not very observant.
Yeah.
And we haven't noticed. So yeah, she does mention that this IRCCA it has the best system in the country, and she suspects that Rourke's matches it. She says that she's not the best at computers and stuff like that, but she knew at first glance that this equipment is way better than New York Police Department. Rourke registers her voice and palm print into the system, so now she can use it.
Only to yellow clearance, though. Yeah, he doesn't give her full clearance.
Yes. Yellow status.
Yellow status, basically, I have a feeling yellow status probably means, like, you can't look up me. You can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, probably. Because he does say that it's enough for her to find out whatever she needs to, but not enough to override his commands in the system.
Yeah.
So they try to get into Chief Simpson's account, which at first glance looks normal. Rourke says that there might be another layer, and they try to break into it. And he has to do it manually.
So that's where we find out that Rourke is basically a tech genius on top of everything else.
Yeah, so he's not just a pretty face.
And if anyone doesn't realise who Chief Simpson is, it's the chief of police. Took me a while to click.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, who is Simpson? And then I was like, oh, right. Chief of police.
The one that made her go to the press conference. So, while Rourke is busy trying to manually hack into the account, she tells him he's kind of cute.
I know. And it takes him off guard as well. He looks up, shocked, and then he has this smile across his face, which basically means, like, I knew you'd come around.
Yeah, he's very flattered.
Cocky motherfucker.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He sets up a program that looks through, like, the possible codes to get through the layers of security. And while the computer does that, Rourke makes a bed appear.
Out of the wall. This man is ready for sex 24/7. Is there no room that doesn't have a bed? Because I think I remember his office having a bed and a bath.
Yes.
And now this room has a, like... Have you ever slept on one of those beds, by the way, that come out the wall?
No.
They are fucking uncomfortable.
But this one doesn't come out of the wall.
I feel like it slides. I swear it does. I swear it, like, slides out of the wall.
Yeah, it slides out of the wall, but it doesn't, it's not one of those that go bumps ones.
It's not like those pull-down ones, yeah. I mean, Jesus, if you have enough space to have a push... Just a...
Sometimes I forget that we're, not on camera. The people can't see us.
Yeah. The listeners are like, what the fuck?
What are they talking about? But the one that goes, falls from the wall, not the one that slides from the wall.
Yeah, it was the one that like slides out. I stayed on one of those beds in Yorkshire. It was creepy as hell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, genuinely, the guy who owned the hotel, like the guy, like the manager or whatever, gave me big vibes of Sweeney Todd. Like,
No.
genuinely gave me vibes. Boy, I didn't sleep a fucking nah. I was there for 2 nights, not 1 ounce of sleep. He was creepy as shit. Met me on the staircase. He was like, good evening. I was like, oh, I want to get out of here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, even my mum found him creepy. I was like, all right, let's bounce. But anyway, back to the story. I just want to point out while they did the searches, Eve saw that how much the chief of police spent on clothing, and she was like, that's a hell of a lot to spend on clothes. And Rourke was like, darling, I'm going to have to corrupt you. It's only too much if they're inferior clothes. I didn't realise he's a fucking fashion genius as well.
I mean, with how good he looks at all times, I read that and I was like, but then again, I wasn't really surprised. Do you know what I mean? Like,
The goal is to be rich, not to look rich. Although I suppose when you have that much money, who gives a shit?
I mean, he's both.
Yeah, he is rich. Anyway, so they pull out this bed and...
Yeah, they just have sex.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it. They just have sex. That's it.
They do it. They go for it. After the whole ordeal, I don't know why this is here. I thought it was later on, but my notes say that we can see her opening up to him in small things that she says to him.
Yeah, she said that, I see what you mean. She discovered lovemaking made her loose and warm. And then she said to him, I feel good around you.
Okay, yeah, now I get it. Yeah, and then he really understands the sort of the magnitude behind those little...
Yeah, it's like an introvert hugging you, basically.
Basically, yes.
It means a lot.
It means a lot. Oh, the program is done. And bam, we see some financial shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Turns out...
Ooh, he in trouble.
Turns out Chief Simpson has been paying Sharon. Wink, wink, if you know what I mean.
Hell yeah.
Vorden's just feeding this information through the anonymous, air quotes, transmission. And Eve tells him to transmit it to Nadine.
Our favourite reporter.
Yes. We don't know much about her yet, but we are keeping our part of the deal. Well, Eve is keeping.
Mm-hmm. And Dean will be grateful and hopefully return that later. So the bit that, like, there was a weird bit of this compared to the next chapter. So in this chapter, she points out that he took 100,000 from his backers or something. Or from the police department. I don't quite know where that 100,000 came from. And then in the next chapter, it says 2 million. That's quite a big difference.
Yeah, no, I think you're talking about different things. So I think the 10,000 or how many thousand?
100,000. Do you think that was just the payments to Sharon?
That was just to Sharon.
Ah, okay, cool. I got a bit confused there. All right. Sorry, J.D.Robb.
It's okay.
It's okay, we forgive you.
She doesn't know we exist.
Yet. She will, and we will do a TV show for it.
Ooh, look at us go. She goes home because she would like it would be better if she was alone when a call will come in from the police.
Yeah, and inevitably she would get the call.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it is her case. She goes to sleep and has a nightmare, which opens us to her past that we haven't yet known about, and about how her father would abuse her.
I think it more suggests that it was her father, though. Like, I mean, obviously we find out later that it was her father, but I think... Has she said it before?
She right out says that it's her father in a dream. Well, in the nightmare.
Oh, okay. Do you have the book up now?
Yeah.
So, oh, fuck, what page is this going to be for you? Try page 300, out of curiosity. It's where she starts having the dream. Listeners, if you hear me drinking, it's because it's like 38 degrees.
Andrew is slowly melting.
I should point out that I'm drinking water. I'm not just drinking because it's hot. I'm not like chugging back bourbon or anything.
Right, okay, I have the page.
So do you have that sentence?
Yeah.
So Lola had called him daddy and Eve stumbled painfully into an older, more terrifying dream.
Yeah.
So after that, I thought like she was having a mix of, obviously it suggests that it's her dad. But I thought the daddy bit was only because of Lola.
No, but then 2 paragraphs down, she literally mentions it's her father. And then the next page as well.
Ah, I see. Okay. Oh, okay. So I took daddy in the bedroom sense rather than the literal sense. Hey, listen. Can you blame me?
I mean, I know you so know.
Yeah, that innocence is gone.
Gone.
Anyway, yeah, she has a nightmare. We're gonna swiftly move on from that.
There you go.
And that's where it gets opened up to us that her dad used to rape her and beat her.
Yeah, make your guesses if that's gonna end up in the episode.
0.
We then move on to chapter 17.
Mm-hmm.
Where in an interview with Chief Simpson, she goes to town with the questioning.
Yeah.
And the chief is not feeling great at all. I mean, he's real sweating.
Yeah, and he was, I think because he was the chief of police, he didn't think he needed a lawyer that well, but then he did end up admitting that he paid Sharon.
Yeah. And the lawyer's like...
Yeah, it literally squeezed his arm like, shut the fuck up.
She went so hard that even the commander noted that she was very well prepared. I mean, too prepared. He was proud of her.
Oh, she'd been dreaming of this moment though, yeah.
On board with it, but he was like...
Maybe go a bit gentle on him. He is still the chief.
She goes back into her office and goes through the video evidence of the 3 murders. She then calls Dr. Myra to question her again about the theory, your theory as well, of there being more than one killer, because she noticed that the angle of one of the girls where she was looking at was different. So the height was, the second killer was taller.
So I thought that was a bit strange. Like, I had kind of dismissed that there might be 2 killers. But what if one of them was just sitting down, you know? Like, I mean, obviously she has to cover all angles, but I still thought it was a bit like...
Yeah. I mean, she does point out that it might be because of the height of the bed, but for some reason it was distinctly on different levels.
So she asks Dr. Myra. We're going to go with Myra. She says no. There's like no chance of it being... And I think, do you remember that simulation she thing that came up with the probability of it happening? It also like says no. Just because of the murders being the exact same, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah. The Charles, the elevator handyman is back.
He's such a smooth talker with Eve. He wants her.
Oh, Lieutenant Sugar.
What? Yeah, Lieutenant Sugar, that was it. I was just about to ask. Oh, what a man.
But he's back with important information. He knows where the deposit box is because he opened it for Sharon.
Under his name. I don't know how someone forgets that, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he put her down as his sister. But yeah, I don't know how he forgot that for so long. I mean, he was thinking about it for a couple of days, I think.
Yeah. I thought to open a safety deposit box you needed both people's ID. Maybe in the future we don't need that, but... Okay, fair enough. She got around the security. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. As she was about to leave, she received another call from a panicked woman, but she didn't know who it was from.
Yeah.
But she traced it. So she sends Feeney to Charles to get the diaries, while she calls Rourke and asks if she can borrow his plane. And of course he says yes.
But he was on his way to have a business meeting. But... lovely man that he is, says yes, take the plane.
Take the plane. And being Rourke, he tags along.
Naturally, I thought, yeah, he has another plane, he's going to get on another plane. He's like, nah, I'm just going to sit on this.
We're going on the same one. They set off to DeBlass's house, because that's where the call was traced to.
She asks Elizabeth if it was her. She says, no, it must be Catherine. And apparently Catherine is having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, but before they even get to it, Eve also questions Rourke about Richard, Sharon's father, implying that Richard could have been the killer.
Yeah.
Rourke eventually catches on to what she is saying and says that she's way off target because he trusts his friends. They get to the house, as you mentioned. Catherine's having a nervous breakdown. They get to the house and they get a confession from Catherine. So this is where the family tree confused the both of us. So let's do it slowly.
Yeah, so Violet is going to help you guys out here.
So let's see if we've nailed it. So Catherine says that her father, the senator, was abusing her as a child.
From the age of 7 or 8.
Yes. So she says that her mother knew but pretended she didn't. Her mother wanted everything to be quiet and perfect and
Perfect families.
with a perfect family. Then Catherine got out of the house by going to college as far away as possible. She got married because she thought it would be safe. And then when Sharon was born, Catherine's niece, she saw him do the same thing to Sharon. She wanted to help but didn't know how to. And then Sharon turned that around on the senator, her grandfather, and just started using him.
Yeah, she said that you can use me as a client, but you're going to pay more.
Yes.
Which is disgusting.
Absolutely.
And she also didn't charge that much. I think she charged him $5,000 per sesh. I would be like, listen, this is more than you can possibly afford. Fuck off. You creep.
Well, and now we know how much Andrew costs.
I cost a lot, motherfuckers. If you're a billionaire, come hit me up. You in the right price bracket there.
And there you go. And on one Christmas day, she heard Sharon and the senator argue. Sharon threatened to expose him unless he paid her. And she also mentioned that she has everything documented. And Catherine overheard all of that.
Yeah, and she was peeking through the door watching her. And I think at the end of that argument, Sharon took off all of her clothes. By the way, they're like in a separate room for the rest of the family.
Yeah, they're in a library or something.
Yeah. And then Sharon took off all her clothes. The grandfather, being the pervert that he is, came up, grabbed her breasts, and then Sharon looked straight at Catherine. Like, she knew it the entire time she was there.
Yeah, so Sharon knew...
But she looked at her like she was weak. I mean, I don't know how strong you can be sleeping with your grandfather, but alright then. None of my business to judge. Like, when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. These notes are going to be
This is going to be an episode.
Yeah.
As they talk, it becomes apparent to Rourke that Eve is coming from experience.
Yeah.
One form or another.
Oh, yeah, because she hasn't said anything yet, yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't know the details.
He just knows someone hurt her in the past.
Yeah, but then we got a glimpse into her past from the nightmare. And now Rourke realizes that she's coming from experience on this matter. And that's how chapter 17 finishes. And we move to chapter 18. We get more details on the whole family tree disaster. The senator has an alibi, so she can't charge him without more evidence. And from the conversation that they have, it gets down to that they need to check if DeBlass paid to alter the logs on the flight to fly without anyone knowing.
Yeah, so you'd have to pay off, I think it was the pilot or something and a flight engineer.
Yeah, the engineer, I think.
Which I think Richard says that he would know how. And he would know the tech to alter the logs as well.
Yeah. They have more evidence from Sharon's diaries, so Feeney comes through with the diaries. And now they have enough evidence to arrest him, so they rush to arrest the senator. She arrests him. She
gets ordered to arrest him quietly, and she kind of listened to that halfway, and then at some point she was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna arrest him in front of everyone. I mean, she did wait until the end of his speech. She did. I mean, it would have been great if she like hopped up on that stage and arrested him, but that's quiet enough. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, she did it quietly, and then he started screaming, so it's his fault. Yeah. She tried to do it quietly, and he wouldn't go for it. Rockman is furious and says she made a mistake, which, Rockman's so irritating. He's always fucking there. So irritating. And then, I think, who was it? Was it Richard that said, like, Rockman would do anything to protect his employer? Because obviously he's his employer. Yeah, well, his employer and Rockman is really career-driven, so he sees the senator as an opportunity for progression, basically. At this point, Rourke decides to profess his love to her, which, great, but
read a room?
What kind of timing that was? And she felt nauseous when he said that, so I thought it was because of that.
No, okay.
I was like, damn, Eve, this is a bit harsh.
What changed
All
between
right,
the
then.
last time you went?
Innit? You were just fucking last night.
Yeah, so she's like, get me out of here. They get back on the plane and she tosses her cookies in the bathroom. She opens up about her past, so now she tells him what we know from the nightmare. Then she goes and says like the classic thing that they write in like romance novels where she goes, "Oh no, I'm a bad fruit. You shouldn't be with me."
Don't pick me. Yeah. I've got baggage.
Yeah. And Rourke, of course, answers that he believes that he's in for a good run.
He's probably just as damaged.
Probably.
I would like to point out that no one is damaged. They just have shit that they went through. Everyone has shit that they went through.
Yeah. So, equal playing field, really.
Yeah.
And that's how chapter 18 finishes. We're really, like, running through them.
I know, these notes are kind of like going straight through. You picked up on the same things I did, actually. So I'm quite impressed by this.
Well, there you go. We move to chapter 19.
The interrogation of DeBlass.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait, you can.
No, I am leaving this in.
No, not again.
DeBlass isn't talking. The lawyer shoved a sock into his mouth and told him tits.
Yeah, he didn't say anything, but he couldn't keep his eyes focused on a point. Eve was like, he's getting paler and paler by the second, and she was hounding him. I was waiting for him to crack.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, come on.
Eve is working the interrogation
Yeah.
to the max. She even calls him an electric scum. Not electric.
Elected.
Elected.
Well, she calls him scum, and then the lawyer's like, you're speaking to a senator, and she's like, then he's elected scum. She gives no shits anymore. She's like, nah.
Nah. She has had enough.
Absolutely.
And after a stressful day at work, well, a stressful week, let's be honest.
Yeah, she just had a real tough time.
She wanted someone to blow some steam off and someone who would understand and listen. So, to Rourke's we go.
Yeah.
On the way there, we find out that Senator had a heart attack and was released.
On bail, which he shouldn't have been. 3 counts of murder.
But she's not too worried about it because she's like...
She's got him, yeah.
Rourke isn't home. Somerset is an ass.
And Somerset
Yes.
happily says that to her face. Somerset calls her a dog, and not a cute one.
You see, but today is not the day to be, like, pretentious and rude to Eve. No.
And I know she would straight up punch him in the throat. But she didn't. I would have. Call me.
Karate chop him. But she does go and expose him in acting the way he does.
Yeah.
So she tells it.
At least she knows where she stands with him.
Yeah. Somerset is shocked, which I don't understand why. Like, he didn't know he was acting this way. Like, are you kidding me? Why are you shocked?
Oh, I think he knows he was doing it. I'm surprised. I think he was shocked that Eve actually said anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well-
I mean, she said something before, but she kind of hinted at it. She didn't straight up say, you think I'm trash.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he denies it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She takes the cat and she leaves,
She takes the cat.
which is a good thing to do. I would take the cat.
Somerset might eat it. I'm kidding. He's not like a weird... I don't know. She arrives home. The cat immediately runs to the kitchen like any cat would. I know my cat does the same thing when I arrive home. And she gives it some milk and some Chinese food, which you should not give either of those things to a cat.
Yeah, but the Chinese food is modified, so who knows what's in there.
Yeah, it's probably safe to eat by everything. I wonder if they even have real milk. You know?
Probably not. She also thinks about what to name the cat. So I had a question for you. How did you name your cat? Because when you got him, you changed his name at least 2 or 3 times.
Okay, so when we first saw him, he was already named something stupid. I can't remember what the fuck the name was. They told us the name and we laughed like audibly in front of them. And we were like, no, we're going to change that. And then we named him because of the way he looks. He looks like an anime character. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's called My Hero Academia. And he looks like Kachan. So that's what we called him. We called him Kachan. And when we took him to the vet, They asked what
Yeah.
his name was, and I said Kachan as if it was a normal fucking name. And she looked at me like, what? And then she asked, what? And I was like, Kachan. Kacc. And then she just, like, she had this confused look on my face. I was like, his name's Rolo. That's how, because he's round. That's why we called him Rolo. Yeah, because he was fat. He was fat. When we got him weighed, they were like, he's 5 kg overweight. I was like, oh my lord.
Yeah.
He was a chunky boy.
Oh yeah, no, when I first met Rolo, big boy. Just chunky.
Oh, did I tell you that now he's not actually as thick as we thought?
No way.
We got a brush that's very good at getting rid of hair. It's called the Furminator. And he is very skinny. Not unhealthily skinny.
Yeah, but also you figured out your snack situation.
Yeah. Yeah, so we ended up feeding him 4 times a day because he would meow at me and then he'd meow at my partner. And then it would just be like, well, we're just overfeeding him.
And now you stopped doing that, so I think it's a combination of things.
Yeah, now I limit how much food he gets. But yes, that's how we named the cat. What I would have called the cat depends on how it looks.
She decides that after such an exhausting day, she needs a bath in hopes that it will help de-stress.
Relax her. Yes.
And, well, shit hits the fan, my friends.
She looks up and she's looking straight down the barrel of a gun.
Yep. And behind the barrel of a gun is Rockman.
I wasn't surprised by this.
Do you know what? Yeah. Neither was I.
I feel like it was written in a way that it should have been surprising, but I think his reason, like what he goes on to explain, was surprising.
Yes.
Him being the one that holds the gun to her, I was like, nah, this was bound to happen.
So he tells her to undress. And as she takes off her jacket, she turns on the recorder in her pocket.
So just in case she does die, there's evidence.
Yes. And she also turns on like the transmission. So the recording is passed directly into the police department. So she's talking to get more information out of him before, like, while hoping the help arrives soon. Rockman confesses to the murders, as well as tells Eve that he made the senator kill himself moments earlier.
Rockman didn't kill Sharon. So the senator, did he sleep with her before he killed her?
Mm.
Okay, so he slept with her before he killed her. He didn't think that he could do it, and then Rockman was in the car outside, heard what happened, went upstairs, finished everything off, and then explained this plan like, hey, if we go and kill 2 other women, it'll make it seem like there's some crazed lunatic out. And he said that he enjoyed the murders, and you really get a taste of how much he despises women. Like, he was like, they should never be in charge of anything, they're just whores, and you're like, well, damn, alright, calm down.
I'm gonna take a chill pill.
Eve said that she wasn't going to get undressed, and he like hit her with the butt of the gun on the head or something.
Oh, I thought she was thankful that it wasn't the gun, because that would have knocked her out.
Ah, right. Yeah, oh, okay.
But yeah, no, Andrew, men, pigs.
I know, men are trash. As I said to you earlier, what was it? Oh, about another book that you were reading on top of these books.
Yeah, what was I reading? Oh, Twilight. Was it Twilight? Twilight, yeah, when he stole a lid. Yeah, she was drinking out of something, and then he waited for her to leave, and then he stole the lid and then put it in his pocket, and I was like, what's up with men carrying shit around?
And I replied, men are trash, they're attracted to trash.
Logic. So they don't notice the cat slipping into the room, but as he brushes against Rockman's feet, it distracts him, and Eve lunges at him.
Yeah, I thought she punched him, but no, she like just jumped on him.
Yeah, no, she lunged at him to like throw him into a wall. And that's how chapter 19 finishes. And we move on to the last chapter of this book.
Woo! It's been a good journey.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find out how it all turns out. Din, 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 din. We're laughing. Once again, listeners don't know what we're laughing about.
No,
Because they can't see
we're
us.
making weird head movements, so...
We start chapter 20. We read on to Feeny getting ready to go home. He almost didn't pass by his office, but it's a good thing he did, because he goes in hearing Eve's voice from the inside to discover her transmission. And he rushes to call the dispatch and starts praying that he's in time. We jump back to Eve and Rockman, who are now full on fighting. Rockman is military trained, so Eve goes full on with like teeth and nails.
Yeah.
He beats her. They're now on the floor with him crushing her windpipe. They're both trying to get the gun. His hand closes over it first.
Dum, dum, dum.
Oh no. The writer then jumps back again, and we jump to Rourke with a package under his arm, walking through the lobby of Eve's building. Just, daydreaming about taking Eve on a romantic holiday on an island.
Pulling out another bed from the wall.
Naturally. And as he goes to press her intercom, Feeney busts in with a dozen uniformed officers screaming to get out of the way. Rourke is like, oh my god, Eve! So he's running after him in the elevator, so stressed. Feeney being the boss operating the mission. You go there, you go there, you go there. Feeney tells Rourke to stay out of the way. Naturally, Rourke says, nah, I'm not doing that.
But Feeney knows that maybe he's going to be useful.
So he's like, okay, but follow my command. You gotta do what I say, not say what I do.
Feeney's the boss here. You might be rich, a billionaire. Feeney's the boss.
He told Rourke what's up at the men's bathroom. We are back. You just got that joke.
Yeah, it clicked a little bit late.
I was waiting. I was like, okay, maybe that got lost in translation. Fine. We jump back into Eve's apartment. She feels like a stab of ice went through her. And then she gets so angry, she forgot all about the pain. And she went ham on Rockman. Punching, breaking his nose, jabbing him like, grrr, Hulk Eve mad.
Hulk Eve. So in the book, all she's doing is she's on top of him, punching his face. But apparently she's the Hulk now too. So we're going to roll with that. Hulk Eve is mad.
Yeah. She didn't even hear the door breaking, and it took both Rockman and Feeney to get her off Rockman. So see what I mean? Hulk Eve mad. Feeney calls an ambulance, with Eve saying she's not going, and he corrects her by saying that it's not for her, hun. It's for Rockman, who was only able to master like a noise of some sort.
Handy elevator man, Hulk Eve, what next?
Told you this is an entertaining podcast.
It really is. You guys are going to be like, what the hell has she been drinking today? Coffee. A lot of coffee, I can tell you that for definite.
Yes. Before we started, I went to a new coffee place.
Ooh, how was it? Not great.
Good. You know when they make you a latte and it tastes like milk with a hint of hot coffee and not coffee with a hint of milk? I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
What is even the point of this?
I mean, I don't understand how people can do that and how people burn coffee. Like, you know, like Costa and Starbucks, when they burn your coffee, I'm like, you do this day in and day out every day. How are you burning coffee?
And the machine does it for you as well.
I know.
Rourke then helps Feeney to take away Rockman by punching him once more, with Feeney just going, oh, oops.
Turns a blind eye like, what happened there?
You know when it's like, I didn't punch him, he fell onto my fist kind of situations? Feeney leaves Rourke and Eve alone. That suggests that, she probably shouldn't stay the night and let the guys come clean. Also, I just realized I missed a crucial point. Because I think maybe in the last episode, the episode before that, they mentioned that they had surveillance on her apartment. Where was the fucking surveillance?
Yeah, they would have picked up Rockman, right? Listen, the writer has skipped out key details.
Throwing shade.
I mean, great books, but that is a very good point. I missed that out too. Also, how did he get in her house? I swear, like, only Rourke could get in a house. Like, she has some police lock.
Oh, but he's like a tech.
Oh, is he a tech genius too?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, now Hulk Eve has swiftly broken parts of tech genius.
Oh yeah, pachow. That was a punch. That was a power punch.
My word. Send the CDC.
Oh my god. Ratting me out over here.
I want a holiday.
She figures out the name for the cat. It's gonna be Galahad? Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, Galahad. I think Galahad comes from... Oh, where have I heard Galahad before? I think it was as a kid.
It's like a white knight.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I feel like I watched as a kid in a cartoon or something.
Okay.
I would have named it Garfield.
Garfield. I found the most beautiful jeans with Garfield on them, but they don't make it in my size.
That's so random. That so random.
Was it?
Yeah. Okay.
And Rourke says that now the cat will get caviar for the whole 9 lives for saving Eve's life.
Indeed.
Good kitty.
I don't know how she's buying it. She's obviously like, yeah, Rourke is just going to pay for it.
Well, yeah, he said it. Rourke insists on seeing a doctor. She says no and takes some painkillers. And I think, so she gets loopy before the painkillers and after the pain meds. But after the pain meds, you know, it's more logical. She gets a bit loopy and she falls asleep eventually as Rourke carries her out. And he also picks up the package that he was carrying before the whole thing happened, which is another packet of coffee to use as a bribe when Eve wakes up in a hospital.
Very cute. He's a nice guy. Brings her coffee.
Takes care of Eve.
It's the one bed I can imagine he would not do anything in. Your face is telling a completely different story though. You're like, maybe.
I don't know. And that's how the whole book ends. That is the end of Naked in Death.
It was good. It was a good introduction.
That was one hell of a journey.
Yeah, it was an interesting journey. It's quite different to how when you first read it, your criticisms were left to a minimum.
Yes, to a minimum. Now we can talk about this, because when I read this the first time, my main criticism was that I thought for some reason I read it as Rockman being rather young. I don't know why, but from the first meeting with Eve and Rockman, for some reason, I read it as him being quite young for his job position. So I figured he was around maybe Eve's age.
Like 30s kind of thing.
Yeah, like early 30s.
Yeah, so that I pictured him about the same age.
So then my main criticism was that while I was reading the whole thing, I then thought that the writer just full on lied to us. Because Lola points out that he looks old enough to be her father. But in my mind, Rockman is like 30. But now that we know he's around in his 40s, okay, that makes sense. However, I have full confidence that I am right about the second book and that the writer did lie to us. And the listeners will hear my...
Are they going to hear it at the beginning or the end? Because that's a big gauntlet to drop.
You listeners will have to stay tuned in to our episodes because I can't fully express my disapproval of the lying to the writer until the end. Otherwise, I'll spoil the story.
Oh, you guys hear that? We got something to look out for in the next book. See if anyone else picks it up first.
You will hear my... I want to say the word is wrath, but I'm not sure that's a...
Wrath. As in R-A-F-F.
No, I think it starts with a W.
Oh, wrath, as in like anger.
Yeah, is that wrath?
Yes, that's very extreme. This book must have made you mad as hell.
It did. Do you remember the kind of screenshots and the messages I was sending you?
I do. It was like a full week of screenshots with bits circled. I was like, oh my, what is going on?
Hulk v mad.
Yeah. Hulk v.
So... yes, the next book, I have some real criticism. This one has redeemed itself. I kind of knew Rockman was somehow involved.
Also, he was so keen to end his career. Like, even if he killed Eve, Senator was still dead. He couldn't move up anymore because he asked the Senator to kill himself. You know what I mean? So even if he killed Eve, nothing would have changed for him. He's just Stupid.
Oh my god, that's true. I didn't think of that.
I was very confused by the end of that.
So, on our next episode, we will move into book 2, which will be Glory in Death. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
This episode is available at SeriesPod on YouTube, iTunes Podcasts, Spotify,
iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. And for those of you who like the creme de la creme of audio platforms rather than the mainstream ones,
we're also available on Podcast Addict and on our website.
link to which you can find on our Instagram.
Speaking of Instagram, for updates and fun content, you can follow us there. And if you have a personal favourite audio platform we are currently not on, please do tell us and we will do our best to get us on there.
And before we go, a very special thank you to our Patreons for supporting us.
If you want to support us too, you can go to patreon.com/SeriesPod.
And in return, we post the podcast there early, as well as include some fun outtakes. And this is the end of this episode, and we will see you next week.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.